Ah, yeah. So, anyone that sees me now would think that I'm a madman and I'm homeless, especially with the way I'm looking. And I remember my dad always says to me, KG, you know, presentation is everything. And I totally agree with him. The only problem is when you are when you are working in the farm, I don't think you care about how you look. And that is what's happening right now. We've got what? We got just two, today and tomorrow, and it's the new year. And I've always told you guys, I never ever plan my new year on New Year's Day. I think it's too late. I think at that point in time, you've missed the mark. They've blown the whistle, or they've shot the gun, and you are now planning when other people are running. You need to start your planning at least around September. Now, I want to share something with you guys, and I'm hoping that it will inspire you. I'm going to create another video tomorrow, but this one I'm hoping it will inspire you. Now, what am I sharing with you? Earlier, I think 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I was 3 years minus 42 is remove 141, remove 140, remove 139. So I was about to hit 40, I think. Yeah. And I just sat down and I thought, you know what? That's half of my life gone. I've got another half to go. Truth of the matter is that I'll probably be able to work for another half of that half. And then the remaining half, I probably can't work. I'm retired. So what am I going to do to make sure money starts coming in? And then my whole mindset changed. I had to change the kind of people I was hanging around with. When when a footman begins to run with horsemen, in order to keep up, that footman has to get a horse. So I changed my circle of influence. I changed the people I hang around with. And I started hanging around people that were real estate Mongols, people who were making fortunes from it. And they showed me the ropes here and there. And I made up my mind that, you know what, that's what I'm going to focus on. I would like to sit down, have 15, 20 properties that are paying me rental income, and I don't have to work for the rest of my life. But where do you get the money to do this? And I remember one of my mentors telling me, he said, KG, no real estate investor ever used his own money. I was like, well, if they don't use their money, where did they get the money to do it? Well, that one is a secret for another day. We're not gonna talk about that today. But I took on the advice, and 3 years later, Digital Landlord will be launching phase 2 tomorrow, which I'm really proud of. That's why I look the way I look. And by the end of January, by the special grace of God, we will have bought our fifth real estate, fifth real estate for £500,000. In Nigerians' money, that is 259 million naira. And that will be happening end of January. So my New Year resolution is not starting in January. My race has begun already. And I will expand on this a lot more tomorrow. But I want you all to start trading in time. Hi, guys. Hi. I want you to start trading in time. And what do I mean by that? Stop looking for money. You've missed the mark. You want to trade in time. And I'll explain to you. If you were told that if you could study and master this thing in 1 year, for the next 20 years, you will make a total of 20 million pounds. But this 1 year requires your time and requires 10,000 pounds. You see, if you trade in money, you see that £10,000 as a lot of money. But if you trade in time, you look at 1 year is the price for 20 years of millions of pounds, for example. At that point, your mindset changes. At that point, you're trading in time. That makes sense. And one of the good things about trading in time is that if you make the right investment in that time, you can buy back more time. I'll give you an example. So when I started doing all these things, I have a 5-year plan. That's my own. I have a 5-year plan but it's in 5 years' time, I'm done with this thing. Now, I intend to retire at age 50. So 50 minus 42 is 8 years, which means that if this 5-year plan goes well, I've actually saved 3 years. So I've bought back time. I don't know if that makes sense. So by buying back that time, what I'm doing that will help me live a lovely retirement life at age 50, I've already gotten 3 years ahead. I've got 3 years on top of it, so it will not be 53. So it will not be 47. Okay, so at that point, I came to the conclusion that, that's what my advisor, one of my mentors advised me. He said, okay, just don't ever trade in money, trade in time. Because when you trade in time, you start to value time. Time is the only commodity you can't get a refund on. If you lose money, if you have time, you can make that money back. If you lose time, you can't use money to buy that time back. Does that make sense? So I want everybody going into 2020 to look at time as the commodity which you cannot get a refund on, and value it. Because when you start to do that, everything starts to change for you. But even better, starting with the end in mind really helps you have a clearer vision of what it is that you want to achieve. I said earlier that your vision is non-negotiable, but the plans are subject to change. Things don't always go according to plan. Even if you get it right 100%, there are unforeseen circumstances, external, internal factors, risk associated with it, changes that will come and change your plans. But the vision, as long as you are steadfast to it, you will achieve your goal. It's like getting on the road to go somewhere. You start with the end in mind to get to this destination. You put it into the sat nav. Now, along the way, your plan is to go through this route, but because of traffic, you've taken that route, but you're still focused on that end goal. And that is why starting with the end in mind is very, very important. Now, the next thing is you need to be the Joseph of your time. Now, what do I mean by being the Joseph of your time? You see, the general who knows the future cannot lose the war. But even better, the general who creates the future has already won the war. So, your ability to understand the times, to understand the trends, to understand the opportunities created by the time and that trend puts you in a position where you can capitalize on those opportunities with the time that's given to you, so that when the time comes, time and chance happens to everybody. And because time and chance happens to everybody, and as long as heaven and earth remain, seed time and harvest time, you just need to make sure you are at the right place, at the right time, but make sure that you are able to grab the opportunity presented, which means that you must have been prepared for it before that time came. And therein lies my definition of luck by design. There is no such thing as he is lucky. Luck is only the icing on the cake as a result of preparation for things to come. I don't know if that makes sense. So if you see it in that mindset, then you would start to value every bit of time you have in your hands. I'll give you an example. when I was told I was exposed to the real estate market, and my mentor said to me, he said, KG, never use your money to build, to start, to invest in real estate. And I said, well, if I can't use my money, whose money am I going to use? I can't go and meet Peter and borrow money from Peter to use it. And I can't, and fair enough, I could go to the bank and do it. But then again, it's a risky thing. You know, those are the kind of things that were in my head. And he said something to me. He said, when you create value that everybody wants, you don't need to beg for money. Money will come to you. I've noticed that in every area of my life. The problem with a lot of people is they wake up and I want money. I want to make money. I want to make money. I want to make money. They are not thinking about the value that they are offering. All they want is to make money. And then what then happens as a result of it is you're constantly chasing money while money is constantly chasing value. I'll explain to you in a simple way. Somebody called me the other day and he showed me his business plan. He showed me all his whole stuff, and he had built a social media platform to compete with Facebook. And he had spent over £30,000 of his own money to do it, and he was now looking for investment. And the first question I asked him is, what's the value proposition to people? Why should people use your platform instead of Facebook? It's just that I just think there should be something different. Yeah, what is the different thing? I just feel that, it's time for us as a community to have our own social media platform. Okay, good. I can create my own Nigerian group on Facebook. I can create my own, I can create whatever on Facebook. So why would I use your platform? And it just there was no value proposition there. And I said, my friend, can I be honest with you? That £30,000 that you spent is called sunk cost. It's gone. Just abandon this thing right now and move on. And the guy was very angry. And I said, look, I'm saving you time, because the time you spent on this thing is a waste. I'm saving you a lot of time on wasting a lot more money later. The guy was angry. He left. But you see, till today, from what I've heard, he's still pitching from one place to another. Nobody is investing because there is no value. So he's busy chasing after money. He thinks, I'll just create a platform. Because all he was talking about was, I think we'll make 50 million in this. Just throwing numbers all over, And I'm like, my friend, but that's not how it works. You've got to create that value. And when you create that value, it has to have an intrinsic benefit to whoever is going to use it. They need to be able to feel that benefit right away. So, cut the long story short, the dude is still chasing after money while money is chasing after value. Now, let's come back to me. So, I felt I did my market research, did my market analysis, looked at my target audience, understood their demographic, did a lot of necessary things to establish a need for a market and a need for a product. And I realized that a lot of Nigerians have major issue, especially Nigerians abroad, have major issue with trusting people in Nigeria or trusting business in Nigeria, because the average Nigerian dude is trying to scam you. And they all want to invest in Nigeria, but they just don't know how to. And also, there's no mortgage in Nigeria, so they don't have the money to put down, 100 million, 200 million for prime location property that would appreciate over time. And I felt, okay, what if I could understand the times that we're in as a result of us living in the digital age? What if I could take advantage of the technology available, like crowdfunding and the ability to trade online? What if I could use that technology to allow the everyday Peter Joe, who is within this target audience of having issue with trust and not having the funds to invest in Nigeria? What if I could bring them together? What if I could create a platform and then establish trust? Tick the boxes on all the things they are afraid of as do not be afraid again. And now merge the technology. So one, build a business based on trust. Use digital technology, which is the times of today, to create a solution. And then see what happens. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. When you have a vision, try and keep your mouth shut about it. I have a problem with that. And I've learned the hard way. When you have a vision, keep quiet about it. Why? Because while you are running with that vision, tapping Peter on the shoulder and telling him to run with you doesn't make any sense, because he has to first buy into that vision. Now, there will be one or two people that will buy into it in the early stage. Normally, people in your inner circle who understand who you are. But keep calm. Don't share it yet. Once it starts to gain traction, take small but secure steps. Take the small step, make it successful. Take the next small step, make it successful. The cumulative small steps that have become a success starts to become big success, or big successes. And then you can take that as your benchmark to establish trust. Once you have established trust, which means you've not cheated anybody, you've done exactly what your yes be yes, let your no be no. You've done exactly what you said you are going to do. And there is evidence of what it is that you said you are going to do. Yeah. The idea that you can cheat Peter very quickly, make more money, is poverty mentality. You are better off. A good name is far more valuable than silver and gold. You're better off building your good name, because the good name has intrinsic value. The good name comes with goodwill. You can now take that name along with what you have, your evidence, and show people. And by doing that, it didn't take 2 months for us to raise £500,000, 259 million naira, to do the next property now, which we will do in January by the special grace of God. We've built a platform. We've done the investment appraisal. We've done the due diligence. We've done the valuation. We've done the forecast. And we are happy to share it with everybody tomorrow. And before we even launched the site, we already had our commitment, those who are committed, the 100 that we need. And we are now going over it. What happens when we launch the site? And therein lies credibility. So now that is done, we are now in a position where we can now build on that. So, where is the other nugget in this? Well, if you noticed, when you have a vision, I said, only when it starts to produce results do you talk a bit. Now that it is producing something, I want to advise you on something that I do, which I don't know if it's right or if it is wrong, but it has worked for me 100% of the time. And that is ignorance. Ignorance to failure. Ignorance to the details. Ignorance to the processes and procedures. You need to understand who you are as a person. If you are an entrepreneur, you can't be bogged down in the details. You have to be bogged down in the vision and the implementation of that vision. If you are a details person, a managerial person, an operations person, you can't be bogged down in the vision. You have to be bogged down in the operations, in the managerial side of it. Me, I am not a managerial person. Me, I am not a operations person. I'm terrible with details. So what I do is I surround myself with people who are good at what I'm bad at. And I focus solely on what I'm good at. So I choose to be ignorant to the potential failure of the project. Why? Because I need to stay focused on how it will be successful. Now, when my team brings this risk assessment to me, when my team brings this issue to me, when my team brings this sudden change to me, I adjust and focus. In a nutshell, what am I trying to say to you? A man's gift will make way for him. A man's gift will bring him before kings. To some he gave 2 talents, to some he gave 5 talents, to some he gave 10 talents, each according to their own ability. My own ability is to stay focused and be ignorant. To have a vision, a clear strategy, and to be creative. Everything else, no be my problem. So, I make sure that my inner circle of influence covers every bit of weakness that I have in my life. You don't need to be a millionaire to have that. You just need to have good friends. You just need to have friends who you're not sitting down chatting shit all day where nothing is being added to your life. You need to have friends who actually edify your strength and compensate for your weakness. And I'll repeat that again. You need to have friends who edify your strength and compensate for your weakness, because they are strong in that area. That is where true friendship starts to become valuable. And then share the love, share the blessing, pay who needs to be paid. Don't be greedy. Why? Because when you are climbing the ladder, you need these people to hold it for you. But when you get to the top, it's perfectly okay to hold the ladder for them to climb up as well. Because when you grow together, you are stronger together. And I hope all of this, I hope you're able to take something. I'm not, listen, you don't have to go and copy my idea, yeah? Just because that's another thing that happens. People call me up and say, KJ, I have a great idea. I want to get your advice on it. What's the advice? I have launched a real estate company and I want to do crowdfunding. And I'm like, you've launched a real estate company and you want to do crowdfunding. Where did the idea came from? KJ, you are my inspiration. You are my inspiration. It was you that gave me the inspiration. Okay, what you mean is that you listen to my idea and you're not stealing my idea, and that is your inspiration. May God bless you. I will pray for you, but I won't pray for you to bring my own business down, so I can't give you any more information right now. Go and do your own thing. Go and meet God. Tell God to give you your own idea. So, basically, in a nutshell, learn to discover your own calling. Everyone's got theirs, every single person. You don't have to see what Peter is doing and copy what Peter is doing, because Peter has his own talent and is given his own ability to deal with it. By the time you try and copy what I'm doing, you may not be able to succeed at it. And then even if you do it, you may never be better at me at it. And then you'll be struggling to gain market share from me, but I'm better at what I do. And you know what? You may be better. To get my point, you may be better. Who knows? But what I'm trying to say is, how about you sit down in your own quiet time? The way people sit down and gossip about other people, the way people sit down and talk about other people for hours, how about you try doing that about yourself? You get my point? See how we can sit down and talk about this one person for hours. Talk about why this person is good, why this person is bad, and dissect the person as if we know the person inside out. How about you spend that hours of time talking about you? How about you spend that hours of time dissecting you? How about you spend that hours of time thinking about you? Because in the process of understanding yourself, you start to discover your own strengths, your own weaknesses, and what you can do and what you can't do. Mind your own business instead of minding someone else's business. As in, mind your own business instead of minding someone else's business. And if we can all do that, if we can all spend quality time with ourselves and understand what it is that we're good at, and I think you should do that a lot. And being honest with yourself. Stop trying to be what Peter is. Stop trying to be where John is. Because Peter is earning 500 pounds a day doing ABC doesn't mean you can do it. You can probably earn 800 pounds a day doing what you are called to do. So as a result of that, I believe that if we can take time to discover each ourselves within, know our strengths and weaknesses, know our talents, and you do that by spending time with yourself. Chill out, man. You don't have to go out all the time. Try not sitting down on the phone talking hours about Peter, about John, and talk about yourself to yourself. People think I'm crazy. I talk to myself a lot, and I thank God for the results of it. That craziness pays my bills. That madness sorts me out. I remember when I was years ago, people, one of the words they used to use for me, especially when you're like new in the UK, you're weird, man. You're weird. You're weird. Praise God for weirdness. It has paid my bills. You know? And it's okay to be weird. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be that dude that nobody understands, as long as you understand yourself. And hopefully, with all these little things I've given, all these nuggets I've given, 2020 is beginning to look brighter and brighter. 2020 is beginning to come across as a year that will be your year of double by the special grace of God. I know that a lot of people are going to go to church tomorrow. I know that a lot of people are going to be hearing the all the things they say to kind of get you all excited. Year is year of favorable favors. Is the year of double, triple versus quadruple portion and all those things, and everyone's gonna get excited. And then come the second day of January, you're looking like, okay, what's going on now? So rather than just telling you that 2020 is going to be a year of double, let's talk about how it's going to be a year of double. Let's talk about what you need to change. Let's talk about what you need to do. Let's talk about how you should value your time. Let's talk about how you should start with the end in mind. Let's talk about how you should be the Joseph of your times by understanding the trends, understanding what's happening tomorrow, and prepare for it today, so that when tomorrow comes, the time and chance, you can grab it. Let's talk about discovering what you're bloody good at. Let's talk about making sure that you're focused on the end goal, And I think if we do that, you don't have to have 100% faith. It is scriptural that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell a mountain to move from here to there, and it will move. So if Jesus Christ said if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell a mountain to move from here to there, and it will move. Then why the heck am I praying 24/7 for faith? I beg, give me 1% faith. Let me do the work. Why? Because faith without works is dead. So if faith without works is dead, and I only need 1% faith, as small as a mustard seed, then I might as well spend my time doing more of the work and have that little faith that is going to succeed. It's just that plain and simple. Do you get my point? It's like when I started this thing, did I think it would fail? Yeah. Did I think that nobody would invest? Yeah. All the money I've spent about £5,000 of my own money to get this thing to where it is. That's just based on the legal work. And then to build a platform has cost us around £42,000. Now, do you think I'm stupid to spend all that money? No, I just have faith as small as a mustard seed, and I'm focusing on getting the work done. I have that little faith that it will work, but I'm also factoring the fact that it may not work, but I'm focused on it, and I'm ignorant of the failure. That's my small little faith. But the rest of everything I've done is work. Then I carry everything I have. Me, I'm not going to any church on tomorrow, because it's too noisy for me. I have a plan. I have a strategy. Bible says, commit your works to the Lord, and He will make your path straight. I think it is very, very stupid for you to go and ask God for a strategy when He expects you to come up with a strategy and commit it to Him. This is my philosophy. I may be wrong. This is my opinion. Please don't say that. Don't quote. This is my opinion. So, I feel that prayers are not answered because your motives are wrong. That's how I feel. I feel that a lot of us are given talents, but we take our talents and hide it. Then we pray for God for miracles. And that is why He says that only a wicked and adulterous nature will seek for signs and wonders. You have a brain. He's blessed you with everything. The earth, seeds time, harvest time. He has given you the ability to come up with solution. What are you doing? Go and sit down. Come up with a strategy. Gain knowledge. Gain understanding. Gain wisdom. Come up with something solid. Then get on your knees, like I will get on my knees on the 31st of December before 12 midnight. And I will show God all of my plans, show Him everything I've planned for 2020, and I'll commit it into His hands and say, Lord, look at what I have done with the great brain you have given me, with all the gifts of creativity, with all the gifts of strategic thinking, with all the gifts of persuasion, everything you have given me, analytical thinking, I have used it to do this. And on top of that, that you say we should seek first the kingdom of God. The kingdom are your people. I have done this so that your kingdom can grow well. Can you see it is to bless your people? So Lord, please direct my path, so that I don't make mistake, that your people may be blessed. Just like Solomon did, said, give me wisdom so that I can be a blessing to the people. Just like Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and everything else will be added on to you. I'm just following the same thing. Yeah? And look, this is my seed. This is my first fruit that I have put together to come up with a strategy that will bless the nation. Please give me harvest on it. This is my own understanding of what I read in the Bible. And for the last 20 something years, it has worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. I'm just saying, why don't you try it as well? I'm just saying, what's the worst that can happen? I'm just saying, use the common sense that God has given to you. I'm just saying, aren't you tired of hearing the same old bullshit over and over and over again and nothing's changing? I'm just saying, try it out. And what's the worst that can happen? I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. What's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen is that you take all your plans, you commit it to God, and God said, sorry, son, you made a mistake. Follow this path, because you are still praying to God, right? So yeah, I'm not going to be in church tomorrow. I need my personal time with God. I need to switch everything off. I need to sit down and I need to hear that what I am doing is right. So that when I start 2020, I know that he that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. And I need quiet and peace to hear that clearly. And I pray that you'll be blessed. Now, I'm not saying that you should not go to church tomorrow. Please, I'm not saying that. Look, if you've done your prayer already and you want to go to church and celebrate, that is good. All I'm just trying to say is, how about you have a little quiet time with God before you get out there, right? That's all I'm trying to say. But me personally, I ain't going nowhere. Okay? So that's it. And I hope that you have been blessed by this. Once again, disclaimer, I am not saying, if you can listen to what I'm saying, I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm not saying that I'm not speaking bad about anybody. I'm saying that you need to use your own brain. You need to start thinking, and you need to have a relationship with God yourself. You know, these people are put there to lead us, to direct us, to be a blessing in our life. But sometimes, just sometimes, some can go the wrong way and kind of do things for their own selfish gain and lead us astray. So as a result of that, I think we should have our own personal relationship with God, and we should use our number 6 or number 7, number 8, whichever one God gives us, you know. And with that, I think we would all succeed and be blessed. So I hope that you are all blessed by this, and I hope that I wish you guys double 2020 with action. Take care. Bye-bye.